Hey everybody, Tim from Tearphone Orbital again. So this is going to be two of two video for a commission that I recently completed for the Saber Museum. This is the second hilt in the pair. This hilt is called the Night Hunter. It is also from Kennedy Custom Props. And again, it's really, really unique. I really love the etching that was done on the inner part of this hilt. It has an exposed crystal. It's really, really beautiful. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. I want to talk about the chassis. This is a custom removable chassis setup. The chassis obviously has lights and unnecessary Edison filaments on it. So I want to talk about that because I did something different in this build that I haven't done before. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll do a demo, and we'll be on our way, right? So without further ado, let's come in to Fusion. So here's the chassis that I designed for this hilt. Again, with the greeblies. Tim, chill, man, chill. Just so much. There's just too much. Some of the stuff you like, like this. So I get like lost in greebly creation, and I just, like, this is so small, you probably won't even be able to see it with your naked eye. But again, like, I get into this weird Zen state where I'm just kind of designing stuff and putting greeblies on, and before I know it, there's just a bunch of stuff. Like, some of this tube work is so small, it's hard to see, right? Anyway, so let's start at the bottom. We've got a 28mm speaker in this chassis. This channel that's going along the side of this chassis is a compartment or an area that I put a flexible Edison filament in. Now, I've used the Edison filaments before in the past, but I've been using the rigid ones, and the rigid ones are incredibly delicate. Just imagine a very small fluorescent tube. I mean, it's not fluorescent light, but that's how delicate they are. They're glass encased in like a silicone, and they're just very delicate, right? So this time I tried some flexible ones, and I wanted to do like a kink in the chassis, so it looked like it was bent or bending along that area. So we'll get a better look at that when we activate the chassis, but that's where that is. Battery tray is here. Proffieboard sits in this area. It slides up underneath this lip to help secure it in place, and that is it. We've got a kill switch around back. Up top, I've got a 7-rail PCB. This is how I make a connection to the upper part of the hilt for the crystal chamber, the switches, as well as the PCB emitter, right? So that's it. Nice and easy, nice and quick, greebly heavy chassis. Once again, let's come up top. So here is the chassis. So with this chassis, I did my typical pass of rub and buff. I have been mixing pewter and onyx black rub and buffs together, and I feel like it gives me this really nice gunmetal look, and I'm really happy with the result, right? So those tubes that I mentioned, I did mask those off and did a pass with silver rub and buff, right? Here's that channel that I was talking about. You can kind of see it. There's an orange Edison filament in here. So the way I did that was I wired up my filament. You can't daisy chain them. So there's positive on one end, negative on the other. I've got a hole on each side of the chassis. So I wired up my filament, put in my positive lead, and then pulled it with the Edison filament along that channel. So it kind of kinked past that 45, and I was able to get it in there. On my first try, I was surprised that I didn't break anything or kink it too hard, because you don't really want to bend these at like too sharp of a 90-degree angle, because it will break them, right? And that's it. So speaker sits in the bottom. Let's talk about how to use this guy really quick. So you want to take the flat part of your battery. Spring side is your negative. Hit that kill switch.
I'm never happy.
There's that Edison filament. Really unique look. I haven't, I haven't done a kinked one like that before. Right? Nice and easy. Nice and simple. So let's talk about the hilt too. Look at this. This hilt is really, really beautiful looking. So we've got, it's an aluminum, I believe, I believe it's aluminum. Black anodized hilt with a really, really beautiful etch on this inner part of the hilt. Really, really cool looking etch. So we've got brass accents. Brass on black always looks classy, in my opinion. Really, really well machined switch housing here that houses some steel dome, tactile switches. Here is the crystal chamber. Again, with this crystal chamber, all handmade brass. It's removable, so wiring this up was really easy. I was able to pull the whole crystal chamber out, wire up my Neopixles, put in my quartz crystal. So there's a large quartz point in here. So I was able to do all of that and then slide it back in and secure it that way. Plenty of room to work with, plenty of room in the channels to do wire management and all of that. Really, again, a really, really unique thumb screw on this one too, much like the previous one, and a custom blade plug as well. So let's talk about how to use it, right? So there is a set screw here that holds your grip in. I've already loosened it. So you want to take the grip off. Battery is in. You want to slide your chassis in until it stops, and then put your grip on. You want to just push your grip until it stops. You don't want to slam it up into that PCB, right? And then you tighten that set screw. That's it. Let's come down to the bottom here. So there's that quartz crystal, huge. I was able to get a huge crystal in this chamber.
Watch this.
Now this is pod racing.
Twist to activate, twist to deactivate are both enabled. 28 millimeter sounds great in here. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Phenomenal hilt. So different animations on the fonts for that crystal chamber. Some of them have like a cooldown effect, right? Really, really, really rad hilt. All right, so let's get a blade in this guy. This is also a 1-inch blade holder in this, so you want to loosen your set screw. Take that blade plug out. Blade plug is very secure in there, so be aware of that. I actually had to take a pair of pliers to pull this out. So blade plug is out. Take your blade, rest it on those PCB pins. Tighten your knurled thumb screw there, and you're ready to go. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, fantastic. Really, really nice.
Kylo Ren.
One more.
You can't run.
One more. Yeah, really, really love that. That crystal is huge. Huge crystal in that chamber. It looks great. So that's it. Nice quick rundown on the Night Hunter from Kennedy Custom Props. It was a fantastic experience installing for these. Again, like I really appreciate when sabersmiths think a little bit past their process and think about the installer. So the installer, you know, anytime I see a sabersmith attempt to make an installer's job a little bit easier, I really appreciate that. And I did see that in this case. Like, for example, that crystal chamber had plenty of room in the back for wire management, and it was fantastic. So fantastic experience installing it. Very, very grateful to the Saber Museum for choosing me for another install. Happy to be a part of that collection. And with that being said, that's it. If anyone has any questions about this chassis or my process or anything really, please don't be a stranger. If anyone needs any help, please reach out. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Thanks for watching, everybody.